Hey guys, welcome back to Sockets and Sideburns. So today we're going to be scrubbing the first job on Sally off of the list, changing the broken rear spring. Now this car is a Mark III Renault Scenic, but the job should be the same on the Mark III Meganes as well. Now as I said in the previous video, I'm only going to be changing one spring today, as the other one was only done 8 months ago and the car really hasn't covered very many miles since then. Normally though, we should be changing these in axle pairs. Now, it doesn't matter whether you're changing one of these or both of these, it's not going to make the job any different. Unfortunately, it's nearly impossible to get just one side out on its own without dropping the other. Trust me, I've tried. Right, let's get to it. So since we're lifting the rear of the car, we'll put the car into reverse and chock the front wheels. And we'll crack our wheel bolts off a quarter turn while it's still on the ground. And on the other side as well. Right then, let's get this rear jacked up and onto axle stands. And always best to throw some spare stands if you've got them underneath. Better to be safe than sorry. And I like to put my jack just shy of touching the jacking point just to catch it if the worst were to happen. Okay, take this wheel off now. These are 17mm by the way, these wheel bolts. Okay, we need to get this lovely plastic cover off first. There's just a clip here and a 10mm bolt over here, and then we can let this whole thing down. You may have one of these things in place, or you may have both, or you may have neither, depending who's been in here before you. Okay, with those two out, just got to pull these little clips that hang over the spring seat off, and then this whole thing will come down. We'll give you enough room to do what we need to do. Okay, we need to get this lower shock nut off. Give it a good brush over, get all the rust and dirt out the threads. And then give it a spray with your favourite slippy. Okay, we need to support the trailing arm so we can take the load off the lower shock. Just jack it up a little under the trailing arm here. should do us. Okay, now we can take the lower shock nut off. It's an 18mm and you'll need a deep socket. And then we'll just pull the shock out, move it to the side a little bit. Okay, we'll let this down now. I just need to be careful when I let this down as the spring has fractured. Should be fine, but it might try to make a bid for freedom towards us. So we'll just keep our eyes on it. Okay, now same all of that again on this side. Okay, we don't need to go too far with this side. Just go back over to our other side now and see if we got enough room to get the spring out. Okay. That's nearly there. Still not quite enough. Just let the trailing arm down on the other side a little bit more. If you were doing both springs, you'd just let them both down all the way anyway. And even be trying to keep them located. I think mine's going to come out in a few pieces on account of it's fractured. There we are. There's the prize. And while you're here, just give the spring seat a quick clean out. Make sure there's no debris in there that can interfere with the seating of the spring. Also, just give the top mount a quick look over for any damage, and then just give it a brush off. Make sure there's no dirt or debris on there that's going to interfere with the seating of the spring. This top mount should stay with the car when you take the spring off. If it does come off, it just should clip straight back in like that. So it's always a good idea to lay out your new one next to your old one. Make sure they're the same. Best to find out now before you try and stick it in there or have it already stuck in there. Right, so over at the bench, let's have a look at our bottom spring mount. Make sure it's not got any cracks or damage. And then again, just give it a thorough clean out. Make sure there's no debris in here. And on the bottom side as well. Now, the way this spring seats in, you've got one larger and one smaller end. The smaller diameter coil at the top, and then the bottom, the larger part of the spring at the bottom. Just stick it into your spring mount there, and then slide it up against that stop there. And the alignment in the car is going to be this marker here at the back. That goes towards the rear of the car, so that will be pointing out the back when we refit. And also you've got a nice little arrow at the front of it, which points towards the front, so you really can't go wrong. Okay, before we do refit the new spring, just give the bottom of the rubber mount a quick blast with some silicone-based lubricant, just to make it easier to slide this over the spring seat. Okay, let's fit our shiny new spring. Just remember to have that marker on the bottom mount pointed towards the rear of the car. Although I don't think the bottom mount will go in any other way, so you should be fine. Just leave it down on the brake disc a little bit. See if we can generate enough. There we are. Just to get that in there. Make sure it seats down nice. Okay. Okay, so before you go ahead and start jacking it up, just make sure, as I say, that marker pointing towards the rear of the car, and that the bottom of the spring is still nice and tightly located against the stop on the rubber mount there. I'm not replacing the other side, as I say, so I'll just be refitting both of these now as they are. If you did want to replace your other one, just take it out and do everything that I've just done with this one over at the bench and refitting it in, and then just follow me from now. Right, now we'll jack up the trailing arms, get the spring compressed and the bottom shock bolt lined up. Just watch as you do and make sure neither of the springs move out of position. And this goes much easier if you can get your hands on two jacks and do both sides a little bit at a time. If not, you might have a bit of struggle to get one in and then the other. There's one. And there's the other. Okay, put these lower shock nuts back on now. We won't torque these down until the weight of the car is back on the wheels. These are 18 mil. So I'll just do them down snug and then let them back off again, just a smidge. Okay, now the other one. Okay, and as I say, I'll just pinch that up and then just back it off a tiny smidge. Okay, let both, or whichever one of your jacks down. Let the weight come back on to the shock, bottom shock bolt. Right, refit the plastic cover. Just give it a push up under the spring seat to get these clips to re-engage over the spring seat itself. And then we've got the clip that we pulled out earlier. That's going back in here. And then our 10mm bolt. And just snug that up with a 3/8. No need to go crazy. Same again on this side. Okay, let's get both wheels back on. We'll torque these up properly when she's back on the ground. And this side. Right, let the car back down now. And the other side. Right, torque both wheels up. The torque for these is 110 Nm. Okay, now that the car's on the ground, weight on the wheels, we can torque up these bottom shock nuts. Torque for these is 105 Nm, and you can just about slide your way past this plastic cover. Okay, and the other one. Bang on, look at that. Okay, that's the job done. If you've enjoyed this video or it's helped you out at all, please hit the like button. If you'd like to see more videos from the channel in the future, don't forget to subscribe. And you can find me over on Instagram @Sockets and Sideburns. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next video.